How are you betting the NBA Finals with the Spurs favored obviously in Game 1 and favored for the series at BetMGM -210, my Knicks +170? How are you betting the NBA Finals, Spurs and Knicks?
I'm a little surprised at 4.5 here. This feels like it's a little bit out of whack because people are playing the fatigue disadvantage here in favor of the Knicks. I think a neutral rating between Spurs Knicks in San Antonio. San Antonio is closer to 6.5. So you're
for
basically
what it's worth.
There's
can
like
I give you an opinion here? And my opinion is not as educated as yours. And I say this as a Knicks fan. It doesn't mean the Knicks can't win or I won't bet them. I'm also a homer. It does feel like the number's a little short. I want to say that I agree with you. And I'm a Knicks fan saying that. It does feel like the number's a little short.
Yeah, and it's not crazy, right? The Spurs just played a 7-game war of a series that everybody was basically calling the finals. The Knicks have had now, a good amount of time to rest and they have a good amount of time to game plan. The X factor, I guess this is not helpful for anyone listening who's trying to make a bet on this, but the Mitchell Robinson. If you have a rock solid read on his availability and his impact on this series, then you actually probably do have a little bit of an edge either way here, series wise. I think I don't have a good read as to whether he will ultimately be out there and be an effective piece or just a decoy or just flat out unavailable. Like I'm still looking for that answer because on paper, at full strength, the Knicks with Robinson and Towns on the floor, and the ability to kind of be physical with Wemby and then the point of attack advantage in favor of Brunson over the Knicks defense, in my opinion, set up a perfect scenario where the Knicks were going to be a much pluckier underdog than the market was expecting, and I was going to probably have a good amount of Knicks. Now, if it's the Knicks playing on the smaller side against the Spurs, and now you can give a little bit of extra help at point of attack on Brunson, I'm a little nervous that ultimately the Knicks are like a big short from being competitive in this series. My numbers, just kind of crunching the numbers and not really thinking hard about the matchups or any of the qualitative stuff. I have the Spurs at about 70% here. I have the most likely outcome is Spurs in 5. Second most likely outcome is Spurs in 7. I don't think that there's really a lot of worlds where we're looking at a sweep either way here. And I think that, this being 2-2 and, kind of distilling it down to, who are your playmakers? Are they able to execute in crunch time? Is probably the way that this breaks in games 5, 6, and 7. And just the fact that Brunson is playing at the level that he is, and the fact that the Knicks, that they have, kind of the right pieces around him offensively, I think makes the Knicks an exciting underdog. So I'm probably going to play the Spurs in Game 1 if this is the price we get, and if Mitchell Robinson is either limited or unavailable. And I'm probably going to come back and take some Knicks series price after that, after it readjusts.
I will see, and I think, listeners and viewers will probably see this also. And I sincerely don't mean this as a criticism. I don't. But you'll see things get tweeted out that I don't think are purposefully misleading. I think it's information that people are interested in. That all the money, all the people are betting on the Knicks, right? Which makes sense, right? The Knicks are a New York team. Sure. Obviously they're the most bet team in New York, but that doesn't mean just because me and my neighbors are betting the Knicks doesn't mean that that's where really sharp bettors that's the direction they're going. And so how much I respect you. The audience should respect you, right? I'm being serious. You really like the Spurs. So my question is this. You deal with a lot of Jay Croucher comes on the show all the time. You do work with him at NBC. One example. I kind of know what Jay thinks because I talked to them about it, but you talk to a lot of people that bet a lot of money and are good sports bettors. Is it your sense that they agree with you, or that they are giving the Knicks a chance in the series? Which is not to say you're wrong, they're wrong, you're right, they're right. I'm just curious where people are going with their money here.
I actually feel like you listened to what I said through the Knicks through a Knicks fan distorter. I was saying the Knicks have a chance. I think this
you're betting the Spurs.
Well, game one, I'm gonna lay 4.5. I think game one is short. Like my numbers, I stick to the numbers for the most part until we understand a little bit better matchup wise. The numbers say bet the Spurs game one, and I could even see a world where it comes down another tick here. But I think the Knicks are a plucky underdog. I think they have the chance. And I think that's the general sentiment among the sharp players. I mean, no one if every public model, if every handicapper who's coming up with a fair is all kind of coalescing around 6.5 for a fair for game one. Like nobody's just going to walk away and leave that money on the table. They're going to go bet the Spurs. Like that's going to happen, right? And then the question then is just, like, hey, how does this affect the long-term series price? Are people going to try to trade this series for profit as far as like this will go back and forth, right? Like the nature of this series to me feels very competitive. It feels like it will go back and forth. And it feels like if you're going to get involved betting series, you want to be exposed to this series will go longer. And this series will have, kind of wrinkles that, kind of allow you to get in and out at price. So I think a lot of people are excited to bet this series. I think this is a much more fun and exciting series to bet than Thunder would have been. And I think the sentiment among a lot of people who I talk to who are sharp at basketball handicapping is just Spurs could win. They should win. They probably will win. But, this is a plucky underdog Knicks team. And if they ultimately find the right recipe to challenge the Spurs, then you want exposure to that. So I think a lot of the sharp players will have Knicks series price tickets in book before we ultimately decide the winner here. The question is, do you bet them now or do you bet them after they lose game one? And I think I'm leaning bet them after game one.
Love it. Final question.
Yeah.
If you're betting NBA Finals MVP, is it as easy as Wemby if you like the Spurs, and obviously it's a big price, and as easy as Jalen Brunson if you like the Knicks, or anywhere else you would go with that particular market Finals MVP?
Yeah, I think we have a perfect one-to-one proxy for both of those two players. Clearly, with what we've seen from offensive usage for the Knicks throughout the balance of the playoffs in the last handful of years, it's consolidated to Brunson. The competitive series in particular, and the series where it's close at the end, Brunson is absolutely Captain Clutch for this team. He is going to draw all of the eyeballs, all of the highlights, and get all of the credit. So Brunson is a one-to-one proxy for the Knicks winning the title, in my opinion. And Wemby is as well. I was toying with the I don't really have any hot takes for the finals, and I've definitely been like toying with the hot take of is Wemby like a Connor McDavid type of blue, like out of the blue could just be so obviously impactful on a night by night basis that even in a 7-game series loss, they still give Wemby the MVP. I don't think that happens. But the idea that any other Spur gets a vote if the Spurs win, I think you're in act of God kind of territory here where Wemby has gotten hurt and the Spurs win anyway. So I don't think I'm not interested in trying to handicap that.
If Wemby gets hurt and the Knicks don't win,
oh yeah, oof.
Trying to think, I won't. No, I need the money. I won't retire. I'd consider it. I wouldn't walk away, but I'd consider it. It always makes me sad because like it's starting to get a little sunnier here in New York.
Sure.
And whenever it's like I spend a lot of time outside. We take my daughter outside. She has a water table. I'm starting to get a decent tan. You son of a bitch, man. You're like bronze, dude. I just like that. You have to come on the show and be more tan than me. I know you live in California. You're the best, dude. NBC Sports. If you're a sports bettor, you got to check out the Deep Dive Pod with Drew and our friend Andy Molitor. I appreciate you, my man. Go Knicks, and we'll catch up down the line.
All right. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to the Knicks fans. And like I said, I'm right there with you after game one.
I love it. The whale capper Drew Dinsick here with us on the show. I mean, he's way smarter than me. So it's like Spurs in 5, Spurs in 7, most likely outcomes. And when he says that, I'm just like, I get a little sad. It's like, man, it's not what I was really wanted him to just be like, yeah, man, Knicks in 4. Get those brooms out. But no, like just after game one, let's come in on the Knicks. What I would really like is Knicks win game one and then the Knicks just keep winning. But not everything in life is sunshine, roses, and a Knicks championship. At least not since 1973. Great job by our friend, the whale capper, Drew Dinsick. On the other side, we'll continue talking National Football League, the A.J. Brown trade from the Eagles to the Patriots, in what I believe it means for Jalen Hurts. That's coming up next.